business page, which you might see it there.
Cool.
Share to page.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I try to give as many people a chance to tune in live because if they grasp one thing that it was just meant for them, and otherwise they catch it when they catch it in the future. It just makes me happy to know that there's someone that's going to get something from this that just is inspired to tune in right now synchronistically. So
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love popping up on lives, and I've been more into doing collaboration conversations more so than doing my own little live streams of like me talking to the camera. So I'm excited to explore with you today.
I'm the same. I'm the same. It's much more fun for me to collaborate with people versus just running my mouth on my own. So I, I,
Definitely.
I do that. I do that also, but more in just like it's not like a let me sit down and do a live. It's just kind of like me running around the city. Like that's most of the time.
Oh, fun.
All right. Well, let's. I'm gonna hit record and we shall begin.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm all set. Right on.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Excited for today and have an awesome guest with us who is out in my opinion, the most beautiful part of the United States. She's out in Hawaii, out in Maui, and just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful part of the world. And I came across Sydney's Instagram page maybe a few weeks ago, not too long ago, and I saw the love that she was sharing with her audience right away. And I reached out and I asked her if she wanted to have a fun conversation with me, and here we are today. And Sydney is an author of the book, the Empath Experience. I can remember it. I like the title. It stuck. The first time I read it, or the title, it stuck with me, so I could just been able to promote it. I call her a spiritual guide because that's what she's doing. When I look at her page, she's definitely just being the light and sharing that with her audience. And I'm excited to just share some good vibes with her today. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Sydney Campos. And if you could share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all these good things.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, it's really nice to just be here today. Feeling great. I did a nice long yoga class this morning and I just feel super good. And what's there to say? I mean, I am here to awaken into my full authenticity and my true self. And in that process, as I learn, I share what I'm learning. And I suppose I'm an example to others who are also seeking to be more themselves and live a life of purpose and passion, presence. And I'm here to create and really embody heaven on earth in every moment that I can.
I love it. I love it. It's the first time I've ever spoken with Sydney, which is pretty much everybody that I bring on these episodes, and it's the first conversation. And I love already like you have such a peaceful, calm energy. I also did a workout, but mine was more. You probably compare it to like maybe like a gorilla like moving around like lifting heavy things and like I'm gonna show it on social media later. You can be like, no, well, you're crazy. But
I do that too sometimes. I like to do the like primal, like
yeah.
like But I get it. I like the balance. I like the yin and the yang. And today I'm feeling so just peaceful. I sweated out like probably gallons of sweat, and it just feels so amazing.
I love it. So, do you drink lots of water before and after, or during, or how does that? Just a side note, because I'm curious. Gallons of sweat is.
Yeah, and just lately, lots of hydration. We're all running so much energy lately, and forever now. This is the way it is. Like ascension and the rate at which energy is hitting the planet, moving through our bodies. We're all running energetic marathons, even if we're just sleeping. And so we all require a lot more hydration and really clean water. And I'm just super grateful I have some really awesome, like, I've learned a lot about water as a technology probably the last like 2 years. And I've gotten really into just supporting myself that way. And yeah, just drinking all day long, never enough.
Give a water tip for those out there. This is useful because you're hinting at I want to know for myself for one, and then for anybody, give a water
Well,
tip.
that rabbit hole goes pretty deep. I think what I've really been supported by is just being more conscious of what I'm consuming and drinking, and just something as simple as water, being really sensitive to the purity, the clarity of the water, the source from which it comes, and then, kind of hacking it to make it even more clean with things like my friend here in Maui has this machine called a miracle water machine, and it just generates the most pure structured water that I think we have access to on Earth. So I get a couple of gallons from her of the miracle water, and then you can just put a drop into any amount of water. I put it into my big, dispenser, and it just structures the whole thing. So it makes it, for me, it just feels like I'm able to absorb more fully, and so it's more hydrating. And after a while, after you drink that, like I feel kind of like I'm a water snob now, and I can't really drink other things.
For sure, for sure. You're definitely. I definitely didn't see you drinking out of the tap. Putting your head underneath and like drinking out of there, like all of us have done at points in our life. I'm sure.
At a certain point, we just become a water snob. What can I say? It's like part of the ascension journey, I think.
I love it. I love it. This is fun. Well, before we go super just in, because this is fun, and I love just vibing with just seeing whatever wants to come out. But I'm always curious, and you hinted at this. I hinted. You shared at the beginning before we started recording. We found out, Sydney and I, that we're both from the San Francisco Bay Area, and Sydney's from a part of the Bay Area that my older brother was fascinated by. Like he wanted to go to, and I don't know if many of you guys have heard of it. Maybe you have, but Haight Ashbury, which is I mean, the way that I would describe it is just like super hippie. Like when I'm growing up, like that's the way that I mean, just the vibe. It was just different. Like it was just a different part of the world than I'd ever been to, and I haven't been recently, so I don't know how it's evolved. I'm sure it has, but I'm sure there's still a similar vibe. But from going from unconditional loving little baby, which is how all of us come here, and to the Sydney that we see now, did you go from? And I almost say this question jokingly. Did you like ever forget who you truly are, like so many of us do? Almost all of us, pretty much everybody.
Yeah,
or,
part of the game.
I know,
Great question. That's like the whole human game, right?
of
We
course.
are these divine beings, master beings, and then we choose to come into Earth for fun, to forget everything, and just play a certain trajectory out that often comes with a lot of challenges that we uniquely designed, I believe, to help us remember our unique talents and gifts and our mission. Each of us has a mission in this life. So yeah, absolutely. I went really hard into the challenges early on. I've lived a lot of lifetimes in this life. I'm 32 years old, but it feels really weird to think about the period between 14 and 24. It's 10 years, yeah, I would consider myself an alcoholic. I was like blackout drinking and doing a lot of drugs from a very young age. And I just love to be high all the time. And I love to just be in extreme states. And on one level, sure, I was seeking God and spirit and a connection with my higher self and freedom and liberation. But I was always seeking it from this place of believing that it was impossible without drugs to achieve those states. And so I was a prisoner and so dependent on these external tools, and when it got really bad, did a lot of scary things, almost died a lot of the times. Really grateful to be alive, really grateful. Like I wasn't allowed to die as many times as I tried to die. I really didn't want to be here. It was really hard to be on Earth and to be such a sensitive, psychic being with no support. Like I didn't know how to live. And so, I'm born into a family where I didn't really have the support that I needed to feel loved. Just had a lot of challenges, and so, but I wasn't allowed to die. So I got to get sober eventually. I moved to New York City, hit a really hard bottom, into some really shady stuff, really scary. And then I woke up, got sober, got clean, got into recovery, and that was about 9 years ago in November. Will be 9 years, and just ever since then, it's been a blast off of remembering and kind of embodying more and more who I truly am, remembering why I'm really here, and more than anything, just simplifying. I'm like so about simplicity now. It's like my mantra, just simplicity, and peace and presence. So, yeah.
Mm. I love it. I love it. Life is so much simpler than we make it a lot of times. And I love the illustration that you just shared because it's a great reminder for all of us how we come here and we take on these physical avatars and not realizing that we're all made up of the same non-physical energy. And the way that we're expressing it, is going to vary. And it's going to allow all of us to evolve every life experience that we have, whether the most painful or the most joyful. It's evolving us, and this is the reason that we came here. And as a result of this evolution, we're at the same time adding to all that is. And you had so much to do, like you weren't allowed to die because you had things that not only did your soul come here to evolve, which it has and it will as long as you're here for all of us, and at the same time the things that you've now put into the world, whether it just be beautiful energy that you're sharing right now, or books that you've written, or anything else, just any thoughts, words, ideas, and actions that we put into this world is adding to the collective, adding to all it is. And it's beautiful because we're all here, like you mentioned, to participate in that collective. And that's why I root for everybody so much, because I'm curious, once we do remember who we truly are, and now it's conscious, where it's like, oh, I'm going to evolve the whole time that I'm here. I remember who I am. Now I'm going to create some stuff while I'm here, because why not? What else are we going to do with our energy? And so I'm rooting for everybody because I just want to see what you all out there choose to create, and then I get to play with it too, whether it be technology or read a book that you create or some new food or experience or whatever it is. So it's just beautiful how you illustrated that. And I always say it jokingly, as far as like, did you go from unconditional loving little baby to poof, never forgot who you truly are? Because I just haven't met the person yet where that was their story. And that would be so boring. Like, I think we would be bored of that life experience like pretty quickly and probably wouldn't stick around very long for that one. So I love everything that you just shared. Thank you for being vulnerable with your journey, and now that 32-year-old Sydney that's conscious and knows what who she truly is. Pretty awesome. I'm one of my biggest forms of gratitude is to have the awareness of who I truly am. I'm 37. But at any age, it's like it'd be awesome. It'd be like, I'd be happy if I was like 80, be like, ooh, like I have all the rest of my time, and now I remember who I truly am. Because, I mean, it's just, I remember living not knowing who, and there was lots of not fun experiences, lots of just rough energy when externally is what's driving your energy, because you think if my relationship is going good, then I'm happy. If my relationship's not going good and I'm not, the world, like what I see on the news is not, that pleasing, then I'm going to be upset and sad. And I'm seeing a lot of that right now from humanity, as far as the external is really, people are allowing the external to control how they're vibrating. And unfortunately, it's putting more into the external that it might not be so pleasant to see. Have you noticed that in Maui, or are you guys out there on an island where you guys are just skipping around and doing yoga and like singing hymns and like enjoying life out there? Do we all need to come to Maui?
I wish there was some more singing. I love singing in kirtan and like community events, and there's a lot less of that. But I'm so grateful to be here. This is my home, and I feel so at home here. And I'm really present to how Maui doesn't let everybody like stay here. Like, there's a really powerful energy here, and it feels like you're not allowed to be here unless you're willing to do like really major healing and soul work and like face yourself. Otherwise, you're like booted out. So there's like, I feel there's a special type of being that tends to be here, and there's all kinds of contrast. I mean, there's all the third dimensional stuff, and there's fear and there's tension, but generally, I mean, I was just in the Bay Area a month ago, and it's like a totally different planet. There's so much more fear in San Francisco, like walking around the city with my parents, and you have to wear a mask when you're walking outside, and just a lot more edginess. Like you could feel people, like on the bus, people are like really like on edge, and just a lot of paranoia and intensity. And here is, I was just so thankful to come back here. It feels a lot more peaceful, and that's just the energy that's always been here. There's this feeling of, and it's from the Hawaiian, just tradition of like ohana and family, and really recognizing each other as family, as one human family, and taking care of each other, and the spirit of aloha, which I used to always say aloha like years ago before I had even visited here, and I'd be like aloha, but like didn't really, like I always resonated, right? Like that, the essence of it means like we breathe the same breath. It's like recognizing that we are the same being. And it's a really deep, message. It's powerful. And I feel like I'm just still learning. I'm really learning about what that means to embody it.
I love that. The example that you're setting for now is your parents and the people that you're hanging out with in the Bay Area, have they remembered who they truly are as well, or are they still learning from your example?
No. We really do choose the perfect parents for us to learn from, to learn and to remember ourselves, probably in contrast to what our parents are reflecting to us. And I love my parents so much. They're really cool. We're at the point now where we can kind of be friends and hang, and I really enjoy just being with them, and I really appreciate them. I can't imagine having children when they had me, like at 27. What? I can't even, I'm just still learning to parent myself fully. And so I just have so much compassion. And I really see them as children. I try to see them as children who really didn't get a lot of support and kind of come from really intense family situations with a lot of emotional neglect, abandonment, and repression, and addiction, and abuse. And so I'm just like holding that. Like my parents are great and I love them, and we can go walk around the city for hours and have an awesome time. And there's a lot of trauma, and there was not a lot of resource for either of them to meet that energy. And so as a child, this is actually something very present for me right now. With all the work I have done and all the stuff, like what's present is I'm going very deep into patterning my like early childhood trauma. I'm going like, it's like deep into the subconscious. Like that's the juicy stuff that informs all of the ways that we relate and show up and, hold ourselves and manage our energy. And it's all put into place before we can even speak. It's all these energetic imprints are put into place before like age 2, 3, 4. And it's a fascinating, really deep healing process. So, my parents are doing the best that they can with what they have. And I have a lot of compassion for them, and I love them, and I'm grateful that they made me.
I love it. I love it. I have a similar view of certain family members. Mom, my dad's been an example of just like the most like just joyful human. Like my dad's 72 and he's just still doing his passion, going out coaching kids, playing baseball. Yeah, he's like, my dad's one of the most fun humans. Like my ex-girlfriend, she was in Miami. She lives in Hawaii now. Actually moved 2 years ago, and we're still friends. And she described my dad to another girl who we were with. She described my dad as, when I first met his dad, like he greeted me with a glass of sangria and a joint, and he's just the coolest guy. So yeah, but my dad's awesome. But I like how you pointed out just a great reminder for people. And if this is a new idea for you, just take it with you, leave it here, whatever it is that resonates with you. That we chose our parents, and that was a part of this incarnation as far as how we were going to experience it in those early years and beyond. And it's so interesting too, because I see reasons why I chose, my parents, as far as my parents haven't been together since I was 10. It sounds like your parents are still together, which is awesome. But that is a whole nother.
other and their special kind of weirdness. Like you guys are made for each other.
I love it. And you mentioned multiple times because it's so beautiful how you mentioned it, and I felt it from you as far as the compassion. And for everybody out there, the way I look at compassion is we can only be compassionate when in those moments we're connected, we're being who we truly are. So we're connected with love energy, we're connected with source energy, spirit energy, God energy, whatever it is that you want to call it. Like when we're connected and we're being that energy, then we're going to always be compassionate. If we're being another energy where maybe in the moment we're frustrated about life or blaming something or someone and judging something or someone, well, we might not be so compassionate towards people because we can use them as an external reason for why we think that we're feeling and life is going the way that it's going for us, which is never true. But it's just something that I've been here. I'm sure we all have, where we're taking external things, and it's really easy to blame our parents for different things because we spent so much time, so many moments around them, more moments than most other humans on the planet. And so I just wanted to just plant that seed for anybody out there that may be a new idea for you, that you chose your family members and it was all part of this experience so that you could have those life experiences and allow you to evolve. But it's beautiful. I heard the compassion that you had, and it's beautiful. They're on their journey, just like my parents are, and everybody out there, your parents are, and every human on the planet. We're all on our journeys, and we're all in a different place. And I just invite you to be compassionate. And it's not something you have to really try to do, because if you're like trying hard to be compassionate, then it's a great reminder of maybe your energy is, it is what it is. So just ask yourself, what's my vibe in the moment? And you don't really have to try to be compassionate again when you're being loved, when you're being who you truly are. So I love how you described it.
It's a really deep journey, Like I used to do a lot of, that's a big part of my life and my work and how I support others is, inner child work and really connecting with your inner being through the lens of this, inner child. Like we all have this inner being that's just this innocence, this purity, this divinity, and people can relate to it as your soul, even your intuition. It's just this portal when you connect with this inner essence. It's like beyond personality, beyond all the projections and density that you've accumulated in this life. There's this perfect divine being, and in most cases, from what I've seen, what I've witnessed, and most people I've supported, and in my own journey, it's like there tends to be such a disconnection. It's like from this intimacy within ourselves. And I remember the first time I was guided in a process of connecting with this inner child, and it was heartbreaking because I intellectually understood that it was important that I connected with myself. I wanted to. I understood intellectually that it's important for me to have unconditional love for myself. Of course I want that. But then when I was actually in the experience of being offered, the chance to really meet my inner child and say, and not even out loud, but just say it in my own conscious awareness of like, I love you. I could not say the words to myself. And this is just me and me alone, like watching my own experience. No one's really, like, I'm not saying this out loud. It's not to perform. And I just couldn't say the words to myself. And this is a very common experience. I've guided a lot of people through that same kind of process, and it tends to be very common where you just can't do it because there's so much density, there's so much pain, there's so much conditioned unworthiness, or a feeling of just like incapacity to really be with oneself. And it's beautiful to have that awareness. Like, oh, that's heartbreaking. I'm sad. I can't say it, because then at least you're then aware and you know how much more space you kind of have to move through. You can take little steps towards developing that relationship. But I say that because I feel like that's really what's occurring right now on Earth in a really big way. A lot of, as you said, the outside world, the external world is just it's a circus. It's totally crazy, it's wild. And I think it's just going to get more extreme. And I see it as the gift, because the more extreme and the more circus-like everything gets, I hope inevitably more people are going to wake up because they're like, this is ridiculous. They have to snap out of it. This doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel true. This doesn't feel right. This is not what I want to endorse. This is not what I want to believe in. This is not true for me. What is true for me? And in that process of awakening, when you start to ask, what's true for me? What feels right for me? I don't want to feel bad anymore because someone's telling me to. I don't have to do that. What do I want to do instead? What do I want to create instead, like you said? And naturally, what happens in that process as you start to inquire more into who you are and what you want, this relationship starts to open up and like, who am I? Who's my inner being? And who are all these other aspects of me too? Like, who are all these other, multidimensional aspects? And who's my inner mother, my inner father? My inner child at different ages that I get to really take care of and heal and just support. What is it like when I show up as the support for myself that I always wanted, that my parents were never able to give me? What's that like? And I just know when more and more people start really taking that level of responsibility for themselves, and they start to really take ownership of their creative power. I mean, the world is it's so good. It's so good when we're operating from that space. It's just like, infinite creative potential. Like you said, like, wow, what amazing, creative, beautiful experiences do we want to create and enjoy together? Like how much fun do we want to have? It's like playground.
You inspired me so much just now, Sydney. Like I had some downloads pop into my mind that I've never had specifically pop into my mind before that I'm going to share right now that I'm very excited about, because I got a smile so big when Sydney referred to, because it's true, when she referred to the world as like a circus. Like I was just like, so that smile, it raised my frequency, and then universe popped a download in my head that was just beautiful. And like, so I couldn't contain the smile inside out. And what download that popped in was this life and every life experience that we may have had previous, maybe in another physical avatar, and however many life experiences that we've had, in this dimension or another. But we'll just talk about this dimension because I'm very familiar with it as Noel right now. It was a circus for all of us until we remembered who we truly are. Like, because I remember my life just in this incarnation as Noel before having the light bulb pop on for me. The initial of that happened at about 26 for me. But from my whole life leading up to that, it was a circus for sure, because it was all based on the external. I didn't know who I truly was, and I thought life was good luck and bad luck. Thought I was going to be a professional athlete, and then I hurt myself and couldn't play anymore, and I was like, how unlucky. Like, my life is just destined to be, this is going to suck. Like, now I have to go, like, try to be a movie star in LA. The only reason I moved to LA is because I'm like, well, I'm not going to be a pro athlete, I'm going to be a movie star. And so, like, will the whole planet, wake up in this life experience? Maybe not. It's possible. I leave it open to possibility. However, what can you do out there? What can we do? What can Sydney do? What can I do? Is we can be it. We can be the light. And what I've been noticing since, because it's just a constant evolving. Like, the version of Noel that I'm presenting to the world in this moment in 2020 is so different than the 2019 version. And I thought that was a pretty awesome version. And I was so grateful for being aware of who I truly was. And, this has spanned for a long period of time now. But my point is, by being that light and choosing to bring that version of me in this moment, I'm attracting so many other people like Sydney, like so many others, that are also choosing to play this life this way and to have fun and like to treat this beautiful world as a playground and ask themselves the question, what is it that I would like to see for humanity, and know that they can create that and then attract other people that are like, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's create that. And so for you out there, if you just be the light and do whatever it is that's inspiring to you, whatever is fun and fulfilling to you, you'll attract other people. Like, people tell me all the time, like, we'll connect in, like, maybe I'm having just fun human connection with them. Maybe that's like a date or something, or just whatever it is. And they'll say, wow, it's awesome. Like, they'll be complimenting me on like they'll wanting to compliment me, and I'll appreciate the compliment, but then I'll remind them that what they're seeing in me is reflecting from what's vibrating in them. And now that they're noticing that they're attracting awesome people into their life, that's a forever thing. Like, they're going to continue to attract awesome people wherever they go. Like, anytime someone affirms that this part of the world is this way, and it was hard to meet people, I was like, that's just a story that you're sharing. Like when you realize that anywhere that you go on the planet, you're going to bring yourself with you, and you're going to bring the vibration in that moment that you choose to bring. I attract cool people everywhere that I go in the world. That's what I have experienced, and so I'm just happy for anybody that is attracted to this conversation and anything that Sydney is doing, that I'm doing, that anybody out there that has remembered, because you're remembering too. You now realize who you truly are and are going to continue to evolve and will attract other people by them recognizing their light in you. And you, just a ripple effect. And yeah, do I hope all 7.7 billion people while I'm here on Earth remember? Absolutely. Am I attached to it? Do I have control over that? No. So, so
Aw.
I love it.
And I love, yeah, I love this reflection. And yeah, something I'm noticing lately, I've just really been enjoying a lot more quiet time. And I spend a lot of my life externally oriented, and even the last couple of years, as I've had my own, coaching, healing, consulting practice, it's been very much, based in social media. And I love to share. Like, as I said, like, I'm here to share. I love to, I'm a messenger, like, I can't help it. I love it. And I just channel and I get it and I just put it out. And I love doing that. But also, over the years, there's been this interesting pattern developed of, like, yeah, almost like an obligatory sense of sharing because it was so wrapped up in my business and vision, and of course wanting to serve and support and be a positive light. So anyways, I've really enjoyed the last few weeks, kind of just like my whole relationship with social media has totally shifted, and I've just felt like I'm coming into such a healthier, yeah, relationship with it. It's really nice. I'm just like, oh, like take it or leave it. I'm actually working on creating a whole new social platform, which feels way better, and it's completely based around shared values, and it's a platform designed to support your personal growth and well-being. So that feels really good. And what I wanted to share is, like, as I've taken my focus off of these external platforms, which I'm so grateful for though too, because I connect with amazing people like you, and I've met so many amazing beings, but I've had this reorientation more into my present physical life. And I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, especially to your point, like I'm very magnetic and attract really amazing people. And the more I've been focused on my present physical reality, the more I've been given these opportunities to really appreciate how much magic is just here in the moment. Like, two examples come to mind. I was, went to go to my new insurance agent. They're very like family style. They wanted me to come in and meet them, and I meet the guy who's my insurance agent, right? Very like 3D thing, like get my renters and car insurance set up, and we're connecting, and we end up having this like super spiritual conversation about ascension. And this guy's in the forefront of like helping people through disasters and insurance for providing insurance for people's houses that have been burning down and all kinds of stuff. And he's like, yeah, the outside world, like most people are really, we basically shared about how rare it feels. He feels it's so rare to come across someone like me that is holding a positive view on things are getting better. The world's cleaning up. And it just opened up this whole depth of connection. Like, he shared with me that he's really involved in like ministry and doing relationship counseling. And we just had this awesome connection. And he was like, I don't know why I told you all of that, but it felt good. And I'm like, yeah, people do that all the time. They just tell me everything. But it was awesome. And then the second thing just happened the other day, and this is just so funny. It's the magic of the universe. When we're just in our own frequency, in our resonance, we open up to these kinds of beautiful connections. Sent an email to someone to come help. I wanted to start getting a house cleaner. So I don't really like to clean. I just want some help, like getting my house clean. Send an email off to this person. They call me back. And the guy right away on the phone is like, hey, like I saw your website from your email. I just wanted to know a little bit more about what you do. And we'll talk about the house cleaning eventually, but tell me what you do. And I just said like, yeah, I don't remember what I said, but he just starts sharing with me. He's like, well, I have these visions. Like, I come from this lineage of Hawaiian healers. and I see clairvoyant, I see prophecy, like I prophesize the future. And he starts telling me all these stories of things, and I'm kind of like, okay, spirit, like this is funny. This person's calling me. I'll keep listening. Like there's a reason for this. But he just kept sharing, and I could tell like he just felt so grateful to have a space where he could share about these things that are not typically really well received, or maybe most people are not really equipped to have an open mind to just connect on that level. And so he was just so excited to share. And he kept saying, it's just crazy, it's crazy. And I kept reminding him, it's not crazy. You have a beautiful gift. And thank you for sharing that with me. And I really appreciate you. And I'm grateful to be connected. It feels very synchronistic that we're meeting. And I remembered him. I felt this familiarity, like his soul. And like, oh yeah, we've hung out together in other lifetimes and probably in Maui, and have this beyond the human conversation that's occurring. There's an energetic exchange of like some codes that we were sharing. And no one needs to know about that. And I didn't write an Instagram post about it, but it's just like, I'm just smiling to myself and to God. I'm just like, this is awesome. Like, thanks for putting these people on my path. Thank you. This is beautiful.
I love that. I like to affirm that the universe is so obvious when people are meant to be in our path, or just the synchronicities of life. And I love to affirm for people because that's normally how people. The first example that you use, your insurance agent. A lot of times, that's what I hear come out of people's mouth. Like it's so when they're describing me, they're like, it's so rare to have some. And I like to make sure that I affirm, now that you're noticing it happening, it's going to happen a lot more for you. Like you'll start being like, I'm always attracting people that are, ready to have these awesome high vibe conversations. That's what I've seen in my life. Like it doesn't surprise me anymore ever. However, at the same time, I'm like, the universe is so obvious. It's always fascinating, the synchronistic parts of it, which is all of it. Like life is just one ongoing synchronicity. And so it just, everybody that I attract into my life, they're just like every human on the planet. We're all at some, like I already mentioned this, we're at some phase of like our own soul's evolution. And it's just interesting to see where people are, because like they would have, sometimes people will get shared some things that, maybe it was a book that I've, read like years ago that impacted my life, or, something. And I'm like, oh, like I see where they are and I see why. Cause I'm always curious, just like you are, like, okay, universe, like, why is this person coming into my life? Like, I'm super curious just about everything. And so I'm like, oh, I see why they're coming into my life. And I get to share things with them, meet them where they are, and, just get to enjoy whatever phase of life that is, whether it's a 1 minute conversation or if they're going to be in my life, ongoing. I'm not attached to that part of it, but I'm always ready. I say I have an agreement with the universe to share whatever is just like ready to flow out of me, because it feels so good to do it. Like when you see wherever someone is and you get to just share with someone, and then, I'm not attached to where the relationship goes, but I love what you describe. I like to affirm for people that this will happen more and more regularly for you now that you're noticing it and appreciative for it, grateful for it. It's going to happen all the time. I love it. You, Sydney, as I want to talk about your book, because I love the empath experience, and I see a lot of people. And first of all, before I go here, like I noticed, and I've actually been focusing on this a lot more lately, as far as my consumption of the non-physical world, like social media. And Sydney is like, I've only known that she exists for like a week or two, but Sydney's only following 3 humans on, and they might even be her own pages on Instagram, which
Humans.
I love it. That told me right away. I was like, it matters to her, like what she's consuming. And she mentioned it just a second ago. She's more involved in the physical world as a result, which is awesome. And I've had to remind myself many times over the last just few months, but since all this is happening, Noelle, like the consumption of social media is just giving my, attention to so many different things. It's just, from entertainment every once in a while, I will like go to different people's stories, but now Instagram knows who I like to see. So it's like, it's uplifting to me. I'm not being shown any or watching any stories or anything that is like not pleasant to look at, because I don't want to challenge my vibration for no reason. I'm aware of what's going on. But side note, like you made a conscious choice, or is that how you've always been with social media as far as consumption goes?
Okay, no, I've done the full spectrum. I mean, I used to be, in my former career, I used to be a Facebook ad strategist, and I worked in advertising PR, and then was like very into, I worked at the beginning of like when advertising started, becoming a really big part of social media. And so it's like just interesting. I was like from that perspective very involved in social media and always on it and like excited about it, like an evangelist of like social media. And so it's only, and then of course starting my own business, about over 4 years ago now, like that's been a big part of my platform and just sharing and connecting with amazing people and filling retreats and meeting clients and doing group programs, and I'm so grateful for all these tools. But and promoting my book and my podcast and all the things, but yeah, over the last couple of weeks, it's not been for so long, but I've been following 3 people. That was just kind of a recent decision, and it just feels really good. Yeah, I'm following the Gene Keys, which is a body of work I really love and highly recommend. It's a beautiful way to understand your energetic signature and imprint and life path, and just really deep. It just feels so nourishing to my soul. Like whenever I open up, Instagram, it's like I just see 1 or 2 pieces of content from entities that I really, really resonate with, that just feel good. And then the other 2 people or beings I'm following are my own podcast, and then just for fun, and then NTVO, which is the organization I'm a part of and also do consulting work for. That is a stand for self mastery and exploration of new standards for the world. So yeah, and maybe that will shift. Maybe someday I'll feel inspired to expand that. But for now, it just feels really important to be, like I said, simple, really simplified in my focus, and really discerning in a way I've never been before of like how I'm using my energy and I'm directing my focus. I have some really big creative visions I'm birthing right now. Like I mentioned, this new social media platform company, a new book that I'm probably finalizing this week. My book deal is finalizing this week, and these are my focuses. And then supporting students and clients, and it just feels really. I feel like I'm able to bring such a greater depth of presence to these projects that are my soul work when I'm not as engaged in the social media world. And what's been really cool is like to notice how, without promoting myself at all, I guess I've done a lot of work over the years promoting. I have a lot of seeds out there where people can listen to interviews and learn about YouTube, all these things. But without promoting anything, I've gotten all these new clients, sending me applications wanting to work with me, and it just is this beautiful rewiring around the old thought process, which says, I have to do all these things in order to get results or to get, this very conditional, pressurizing, control-based flow. And so it's just really beautiful to experience what I'm able to receive now that I've kind of created this space.
I love it. I love it. Such a great example right there, what you just described, as far as, yes, Sydney has had a lot of seeds planted over, she described, 4 years. And at the same time, what these clients are being attracted to is her present moment vibration and how she's living her life now. And she's open to the clients that she's receiving, or else I find it fascinating with the universe. When I'm open to human connection coming into my life in the various forms that I'm open to it coming, then it comes because it's coming as a match to my vibration. I'm not attached to when it comes or how it comes or who it's going to be or any of these things, which is a great side note for out there, like the release of it, which sometimes can be easier said than done if you really, really want a human connection of certain types. I've been challenged with that also with the beginning stages of quarantine when I was like, wait a minute, the extrovert that loved to just interact with humans, now it's not even allowed to go outside anymore, really. They're saying, where are you going right now? And it's like, what happened? So I had to release that, and then as soon as I released it, then the universe was like, okay, Noel, I can start bringing you human connection again, how you enjoy it. But my point is, what Sydney just described is so beautiful, because a lot of times we think, if you're not doing all these action steps, like there's no way that you're going to have clients come. And some of you out there might say, well, it's just because she's planted seeds over the years. I have a strong knowing that if Sydney's vibration was like right now in the weeks like leading up to now were just like off, and off is judging it, but if she were just like, just judging and upset and like angry at the world, I doubt if she would be attracting lots of clients to that vibration. Maybe some other things that would be a part of her life experience that may not be so pleasant as new clients coming out of the blue. So it's just beautiful how you illustrated that, because for all of us, like yeah, there's going to be a seed planting period and a period of gestation, just like how the crops, are gestating out in the world. But you will harvest, and that harvest again, if you're having like the worst environment for your crops, which a very harsh environment again is these, if you're like again hate, you're like putting out hate and like frustration and anger. It's not the best environment for your crops to grow. It'd be like just taking all the water and sun away and just like putting weeds like on your crops. It's just a little bit of a rough way. But I love how you mentioned that because I've noticed that as well, as far as just stuff that just random, coincidence, synchronicities that are coming to me. And I'm not even focusing on that part of life, but it is an intention that I have as far as, yes, this is an area of life that I want to see evolve, and I have planted seeds and I've released it. I don't care how it happens. I'm already grateful for it because I know it's coming. And then boom, boom, then it comes. So that's a beautiful example.
Really, I'm just celebrating. Oh, like just really, since moving to Maui in December, I've really been learning about slowing down and just going really deep into actually trusting life, even though for years I've taught about trust and abundance and, presence, all these embodiment, all these things. And I'm really appreciating in this moment how I feel like I'm walking the talk, and I feel like it's so important for all of us to really acknowledge ourselves as we catch these glimpses of where we're at in the path, wherever we are in our own trajectory, that we're really taking pause frequently to just celebrate. Wow, like the little wins. Whoa, I feel so present. I feel really calm. I feel really grounded. I feel peaceful. Wow, I really paused before I, answered. And I felt what's true to me, and I only shared from that place. And just like these little acknowledgments are so healing, and they help support us in making quantum leaps in our evolution. I'm really present to that. I was doing it during yoga class. I hadn't done a Bikram class in about a month, and I was a little like, just getting back into it. It's pretty rigorous practice. And I was just noticing how that really supported me through holding the poses, kind of transcending what the mind will think you're capable of, and transcending that by celebrating and acknowledging and enjoying what's presently occurring. And you transcend these limitations, and then you see what the body and the spirit and the breath is actually capable of, which is like far beyond anything you would have thought, So, and then we have these opportunities in every moment, So presence, it's like, I feel like with everything happening in the world right now, we're all being invited. I mean, aren't we all being invited into actual presence in a way that we never have before, right? Like we have no choice but to become present and to learn what that actually feels like after running around in the circus of the past and the future and the worrying and the controlling and just moving so fast. And now we're forced to slow down. And that brings up so much for everybody. It brings up perfect healing and lessons, but at the same time, we're all learning together how to be present and how to be ourselves fully present.
I just love how much you're sharing that part of life, which is the only part of life that exists for any of us, is this present moment of now. And you can tell, obviously, listening to Sydney, that matters to her more than anything else, which if somebody says, Noel, what matters to you more than anything? It's just, what version of myself am I bringing to this present moment? Because that's all that truly exists. Like anything that happened in the past or may happen in the future, and even when I get there, it'll still be the present moment of now. Doesn't matter in this moment. And if you're listening to me say these words right now, just think about like what you have access to. You're listening to a podcast, or maybe even streaming this live with us right now, where none of the rest of the stuff that's going on really matters, because like you're experiencing a beautiful human out in Maui, like sharing like just passionately from her heart, and just like this beautiful Zen place out of a Bikram yoga class, and with her, just all her life experiences while she's connected and channeling from who she truly is. It's beautiful. Like that's life simplified. And like that's how Sydney started this conversation, is she likes to keep things simple. Same with me. Like I'm all about simplicity, and I'm like, what could be more simple than all that exists is right now, and all that I can control in this moment of now is the vibration that I bring to the moment. I could do that. And then
Like the funny thing is that like I make jokes about this too, and for anybody that's ever done like meditation, I mean, really anything that you're doing that and you get into a really deep state of presence, and maybe you're doing that with other people, like in a meditation retreat, or like authentic relating experience, or like tantra practice, and I just laugh because I'm like, when we're really present with each other, there's like no more thinking, and I feel like we just want to melt and like snuggle and become these like cozy little animals that are just like, I love you.
it's true.
And we're just like these little light beings that just, love. And yeah, sometimes we'll create things, but it's very instantaneous. Like, well, as we speed up and as we embody more love, and as we play and as we embody the divine child that we each are, it's what I notice coming in, I believe in our lifetime, is really this experience and expression in real time of quantum manifestation, where there is no doing really. There's just aligning with such a high frequency that's so powerful that I thought this idea, I thought this I had this imagination, and suddenly there it is. And suddenly I'm already in it. And there's nothing to even talk about or explain or rationalize, create some logical story around. There's just pure experience and enjoyment of what is here and occurring and moving through you, and like melting into that. And I had glimpses of that in my life as fun, and I love to be playful and fun and silly and just be permission, because so many people are walking around just like they're so uptight and they're so traumatized and they're so afraid. But underneath all of that, they're these beautiful, loving children, and these little love beings, and they just want to be loved, and they want to love themselves, and they want to experience and express love with other people, and it's all that we're really here for. But somehow in this life, we've developed all these conditions around how that's not possible, how we're not worthy, how we have to be, credible, how we have to be trusted, all these things. And so I just love to hold that example of like playfulness and intimacy, and just permission to kind of melt and let go. And because when we really let go, and it's from the body, it's not an intellectual process. And I'm going to surrender. Yeah, I'm surrendering, but your body's all locked up and your energy's all locked up and your heart's all closed. Not really. You're not surrendering. You're trying to control everything. You're still really afraid, and you don't trust that you're supported. And life feels really hard, and you're really scared, and you feel very alone. And when we really can let go and really relax and really rest into the body and become embodied, let our spirit fully descend. Ascension is actually descending into the body, the spirit fully coming in to the physical, and our energy field then expands like so brilliantly. Then we're just magnets, and then we're just creating effortlessly, instantaneously, and in pure presence. There's no process, there's no step A, B, C, D. It's just now, happening now. Imagination, feeling, believing, receiving. It's even less steps than that. It's just like, what would feel so beautiful right now? What do I want more than anything? And then it's here.
You are an awesome example, Sydney. What Sydney is showing everyone and all of us is just she's expressing who she truly is through her physical avatar named Sydney, and that's what she's just a beautiful example, because that's who all of you truly are out there. That's who all of us truly are. You'll flow that energy that she's showing you, that you're feeling from her. That's who you are, and you'll flow that through your physical avatar, through your life experiences, and that's it. Like, when we start comparing and the worthiness thing, and I'm not good enough, you're the same as Sydney. She's just expressing it through her physical avatar, and you're expressing it through yours. So that would be like the waves in the ocean, which is probably my favorite example because the ocean is right there, and I always like to be right next to the water. That'd be like the waves thinking that that wave over there is better or worse because it's more blue or it's warmer or it's bigger or whatever. Like, how silly would that be? We'd be like, why are the waves arguing out there? Like, obviously, so this is the same with us. So it's just when and again, I didn't always have this light bulb on, so I always say this with we all are where we are. However, just take an example from a beautiful human being like Sydney and how she's sharing, and rewind and listen to what she just shared a second ago, because that was just beautiful how she flowed all of that out. And this whole episode, just rewind and listen to this again. Make sure that you're present to it. I just want everybody to know that's who you truly are. And again, I'm not attached to all 7.7 billion while I'm here, but everything that I'm creating, everyone on the planet is invited to participate. And to even want to participate with me, you're going to know who you truly are, or else you're not going to want to really be around me, because I'm only willing to play in these energies that me and Sydney are playing. And I'm not really willing to play with any of you in energy of blame or judgment or frustration or anger. I'm not willing to play with you there. So if that's where you choose to play, I'm not making you wrong for it. I'll be over here. We can enjoy life however we choose to enjoy life when we're ready to play over here. And I have that same, like, whether you want to call it a boundary or just an intention for me and how I choose to live my life, because the only moment promised to me or any of us is now. So if you're my family member or friend, we've known each other for years. If you want to play with me, this is where I'm going to be. We're going to enjoy life. We're going to be playful. We're going to just see what we can talk about that we're excited to create. Or you decide to live somewhere other. If I'm just not playing with any human that unless we're going to play at least at peace. Like, I'm just not willing to go there.
Yeah. I heard as you're speaking, I feel like a curiosity around. I almost feel like we'll be evolving out of the word boundaries. Like boundary, the word boundaries, the concept presupposes some like really dense energy sometimes. And the word that I really love to use in describing what I feel you just described is attunement or resonance, like holding oneself in like an attunement of certain frequency that then is only in resonance with other frequencies, as opposed to I have a boundary and no one who's this and I'm judging you can come in, and there's protection and there's fear and there's all these kind of like dualistic, separative, kind of like combative. There's just a lot. There's a lot in that word. And so I just like to be an exploration of new language, because I know that where we're evolving requires us to speak really, what is that? Be impeccable with your word, right? Like, that's been so in my consciousness lately, like really using the words that communicate and convey the energy that we want to be living and embodying. And also, to your point, maybe not all, 7 billion, however many people are going to wake up overnight, but I just know that we're on a team. I have an awesome team of humans and multidimensional beings. And I don't even know how many of us there are, but we're growing in numbers every day. And in my immediate team, there's maybe like 20 people that are just really tight allies that I know are walking in such high integrity, that are so committed to being their true selves, that are just like, they're fully here to be themselves and they're on mission. And I feel so supported by that. And I know that with the energy that we're bringing in through our being as the frequency holders and anchors that we are, we have the impact of influencing the entire planet. It doesn't, we have this conditioning from social media, from just our society. It's very numbers-based. Capitalism is very numbers-based. It's very volume-based, tangible. Big is better, more is better. Not true. Not true. It's an energy game. It could take one person, connecting with, allowing themselves to open up to receive the energy that is available here. if we really consciously chose to receive at the level that it's available, and we opened the body and we healed the body to allow the body to safely integrate what is available to all of us. All it takes is one, two, three, four, a few people in different parts of the world anchoring this energy in. Call it what you want. It's higher frequency energy than what we kind of currently experience as the norm on Earth. It anchors through our physical body. It connects down into the planet. It elevates the entire energy field of Earth, the planetary grid system, which we're all connected to. We're all connected to it. So even just a few people channeling this new frequency and upgrading, doing a software update, an OS update onto the grid, can't help but affect the whole. It affects everybody, whether they're aware of it or not. They're getting the upgrade, the update. So I just want to thank everyone on my team. I want to thank you, Noel, for your service and your heart in elevating the frequency. It doesn't take a lot of people. It does not take a huge mass of people. In fact, it's occurring already now, and there are enough beings right now that are supporting all of us in ascending and inevitably remembering who we are.
Thank you, Sydney, for reflecting all of that back to me, and just so what Sydney just shared with me, because I take everything that she said as like she was sharing it with me, and hopefully you guys take that out there as well. Because for me, what you heard from me throughout this episode is when I mentioned the 7.7 billion humans, I know that I'm doing what I can do with what I have from where I am, and I enjoy sharing this energy because I know that the vibes that I'm putting out are going to be impactful for the people that are ready to resonate with them. And I'm so happy that you mentioned what you said about boundaries, because you could even see how I was like, if you want to call it boundary, that's not a word that I say. I've only actually said that word probably once or twice because that's used so heavily in the coaching world. And I'm not I'm not personally in the coaching world, but I'm talking to lots of you guys that are. And so that didn't even come out like, I'm not saying that free flowing like in my life, but the resonance is that will be the last time that you guys will even hear me even mention that. I'll use the word resonance because that's really what it is. It's I'm choosing to bring the vibration that I'm bringing in this moment, which is all that it is that I have control over. And then I already am super conscious that I'm attracting people that want to play with me in that vibration. And that's just where I'm playing. I can't vibrate for you or anyone out there. And so I'm so thank you for saying that, because that was very, very useful, because I've never, that's never resonated, that word's never resonated with me. I'm like, I don't know, it just seems, because a lot of times, and I want to hit on this too, because it's kind of like synonymous with a lot of times people that refer to themselves as empaths. They're talking about boundaries and they're talking about protecting their energy. And just to me, I know how powerful we are, just our own energy that we're bringing into this moment. That's powerful enough. You walk into an energy and you're vibrating in the energy of who you truly are. That room is uplifted. You're uplifting the frequency of the entire room. The people that want to play where you're playing are going to be attracted to you in that room, and the people that aren't, they're not going to want to be around you in that room. Like, oh, what are you so happy about? And they're not going to want to be around. So, like, hit on that, because you wrote a book called The Empath Experience. I want to ask you about that, and I don't know how much time you have. I'll talk to you for a long time, so you better tell me if you have like an appointment coming up right now. But I want to know about your book, just however what you want to share, and then whatever you want to share about the book that's coming out and what that's going to be.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the Empath Experience, What to Do When You Feel Everything, came out in 2018. So I wrote it about 3 years ago. Very different time. And a lot of what I wrote about, there's a few chapters around boundaries and energy vampires and things that I don't really believe in right now, actually, just where I'm at in my journey. A lot of shifts have happened in the way that I understand what it is to be an empath. And I don't identify with the label. It's just what I understand now. Well, let me go back. I wrote the book at a time where I felt and knew that it was really important to have a resource out there for people waking up and having all of their emotions and sensitivity come online. And I know what that experience is like, to feel like you're crazy and to feel like something's wrong with you. And I had found ways to heal And I also felt it was so important to have a positive message. There's so much negativity at the time where I was getting sober, learning about my emotions and energy. There was so much negativity around this word I had heard, empath. I'm like, this makes so much sense. I'm an empath. Oh my God, this is, I'm not crazy. I'm an empath. Okay, how do I take care of myself? All the resources I found, this is like 7 or 8 years ago, everything felt so negative. If you're an empath, you're going to attract narcissists, you're going to be a drug addict, you're going to be depressed, you're screwed, basically. But I was like, I already did all that stuff. Like I did all of that. And I actually feel like things are going to be okay. And maybe this is actually a gift. Let's explore a different, more positive way to, be in this exploration together, to have this discussion. So that's how the book came out. I wrote some articles. You can check those out on Mind Body Green. They helped a lot of people. A lot of people responded to me saying, it feels like you're talking to me. I've never felt so understood. I sent this article to my whole family so they could understand what it's like to be me. And then the book came. And so, anyways, it's a guidebook. It's a guidebook to living an empowered life. As an empath or as a human, as an awakened human, what I now believe and understand around empaths is that as we awaken and as our frequency rises, as our emotional sensitivity inevitably increases, we are all empathic. We all have the capacity to be highly empathic and sensitive and psychic and attuned. We all do. But at a certain point in the journey, some people are on a little bit farther along on the path, and then there's that awakening moment where I just need a word. I need an identity. It's helpful to explain what I'm experiencing so that I can start to take care of myself. And then eventually you probably evolve out of that and you come more into yourself and you realize that you're not just an empath. You have empathic abilities and sensitivity because you're an awakened human, but you're not an empath and you're not a victim. You're an empowered creator, and you can use your energy and emotions to create and manifest whatever you want to experience. And so the new book that I'm bringing through it's 11:11 a.m. here right now. So just setting the prayer for my perfect team and everything to be finalized this week, and ready to go really deep into that writing process to finish this up. The book is called The Consciousness Code, 8 Steps to Awaken Your Higher Self. And it is a recovery program. I have a long history in recovery, 12-step recovery from addiction and codependency, things like that. And this book is my answer to what's next. After you've done some work in addiction recovery, like what's the embodiment process of embodying your higher self? There is a step-by-step process. There is a way that I found to do that. And so, this book is my attempt at offering that path, and it includes a lot of stories that I've never really shared before. And it's a big healing process to be kind of synthesizing everything in this format, but it feels so timely. The idea for the book came before all the Corona stuff happened, and like, okay, universe, this is really funny divine timing. Suddenly it just feels so perfectly timed. So I'm excited about it.
Always is perfectly timed. I love it. I'm excited for how you shared that. Just the recognition of your evolving since the previous book came out, and I just love how you shared all of that, because I'm all for us empowering and affirming empowering things. And I never let anyone label themselves in a disempowering way around me ever. Like I'll finish their sentence with "in the past," because when we're describing anything disempowering, we're describing something that we knew of ourselves in the past that has nothing to do with what we're going to reflect going from here. But I just love like how a lot of people wouldn't be willing to even mention that something that they wrote just even 2 years ago, that there were any elements of it that they've evolved from. And but I love how you said that, because that book is going to continue to meet people where they are, the people that are attracted to it. And this new book will meet people where they are. Consciousness Code. It's awesome Did I say the title right? I think that I did. I like it.
Conscious code, you got it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That will meet people that are ready for that, and you'll continue to be very, very impactful. I highly recommend you guys connect with Sydney. It's unlikely that you'll be one of the people that she follows since she's only following a few. However, however, everything that she's sharing, you're going to feel this energy that you're feeling from her in this conversation. And I just greatly, greatly, greatly recommend, just connecting yourself with humans around the world that you feel that resonance with, and you feel the light that they're sharing with, because it's just a great reminder of who you truly are, and then go share whatever it is that you're inspired to share as well. Last thing, Sydney, I would want to know from you, because I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours, and I'm just going to affirm that this is our first co-creation, and we'll co-create together again whenever timing is right. But just anything else, knowing that someone could listen to this 20, 50 years from now, the internet's going to live forever, and I just want to make sure that any juice that wants to flow out, you've been just sharing beautiful things the whole time. But anything else, that it could be anything that you just want to make sure, I want them to hear this from me, that wants to flow out. It could be something you've already said or something new, but anything else that you want to share with the audience.
A lot of people right now are really wondering, what is my purpose? As their external validation of what their purpose has been chipped away at, has been taken away, has been removed. And I just invite everyone to really consider how your purpose has never been what you've been conditioned to believe it is. And that the way we've even been conditioned to relate to having a purpose is not necessarily based in truth, and was maybe based in service to a different agenda within the different systems that we were kind of complicit in, following along in. And just consider, for fun, for exploration, that your purpose might actually be not what you do. It might not be an action, it might not be something you produce or create, but it is how you are being. Maybe your purpose is actually the energy that you bring in through your being and then share through your expression, which doesn't require even words or, again, any output. How are you being? How are you feeling? What's the unique energy and the signature that you are here on Earth to anchor through your being? And maybe that is your purpose. And actually, deeper than that is you fully experiencing yourself, fully receiving the energy that comes through you, fully receiving it. I'll say this again because it's just come through in so many sessions I've had with students over the last couple of weeks in particular. It's come through so much. Your purpose is to be completely immersed in your own absolute presence. Your purpose is to be completely immersed in your own absolute presence, to really receive your own presence fully. So that felt like that was what was wanting to come up right now.
I love that so much. I'm gonna share one thing regarding purpose, and take it with you out there, or leave it here. There's no mandate on any of us to do anything while we're here. There's no being in the sky saying, if you don't do this while you're there on Earth, you failed as your Earth. That does not exist. And we came here to this beautiful planet in this incarnation because we knew that by taking this physical avatar, we signed up for it. The one that you're in, maybe you don't think that you would have picked that one, or picked the parents that you have, or where you live. You chose it. You chose it. And again, take this with you or leave it here. However, we knew by picking this one and coming to have this human experience that we were going to evolve, and our souls were going to evolve because of all of the life experiences, and we were going to add to all that is, because we're creators. And so what Sydney described is so beautiful, because by being in that pure presence, you're making the choice, because the evolution of our souls is going to happen either way. That's going to happen with every life experience that we have while we're here. The doing it joyfully in pure presence with being who we truly are, that's optional. We all get to make that choice moment by moment, and we're going to evolve either way. So if you want to evolve super painfully the whole time, continue to have the illusion that we're separate, continue to have the illusion that you're required to do something or else you're a failure, continue to have the illusion that you're not worthy. And that might just be a part of your journey where you are right now. And if you're experiencing that right now, then it is. However, you can at any time make the shift to, in this moment and all the moments that follow, which none of them are promised, so we'll just talk about this one, to bring the full version of who you truly are, the love version, the peace version, just that pure presence that Sydney is describing. And in that moment, you're going to evolve as well, except you're going to do it just joyfully and blissfully and like having fun and play, and cool people will be involved, and you have cool ideas and awesome synchronicities and all these beautiful things. So I love it. That's a great way to put a nice bow on this. I love that you said that. I'm so happy that that was what you felt called to share. And I loved how you went within. Notice how Sydney closed her eyes and took a deep breath and allowed her frequency to raise, and then the download came in and she shared that beautifully. This is why I asked that question, by the way, because you guys all do the same thing. You guys just connect and then flow out, and it's just so beautiful. You raise my frequency as I'm like anticipating what it is that you're going to share beautifully. So thank you for playing with me today, Sydney. This is you've left me feeling uplifted, and I love that you noticed that it was 11:11. I was like, that's awesome. It's 11:11 where she is. It's a little bit later than that where I am, and there's a few hours of sunlight left. However, I'm going to take all the beautiful energy that we just shared, and I'm going to flow it into the rest of my day today. And I just want to thank you for sharing all your beautiful energy with the audience. Do you want them to know anything as far as connecting with you or working with you, or anything that you want to promote or anything like that?
Thank you. Such a pleasure. First of many co-creations. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have what comes up actually on Friday this week. I'm offering a call. It's a training / Q&A. Feels like it's just going to be a really helpful call and kind of walk through around the book publishing process. It's called Birthing Your Book into Being. A lot of people in my field have reached out to me, you know, how do you publish? How do you write a book? How do you do a proposal? How do you get an agent? And I have a lot of experience in this path. So I'm hosting a call this Friday morning, Maui time. You can find all of the information on my website, sydneycampos.com. And then the other beautiful event I'm a part of that's coming up soon is called the Integrated Feminine Symposium. And it's a 5-day kind of like marathon retreat with, I think, over 60 facilitators from all over the world, all really powerful leaders, powerful women who are teaching about different aspects of integrating your divine feminine and really stepping into feminine power. So it's a big consciousness upgrade. It's a big, beautiful, powerful community. And I'm grateful to be teaching in that. I'm going to be teaching on awakening your psychic gifts. So if you want to join me in that, you can also find out about it on my website. And beyond that, check out my podcast, Visionary Souls. I have a new episode coming out tomorrow. Really love sharing there. And if there's any way I can be of service, just connect, stay connected, stay in touch. I also want to highlight, I just made all my courses free on YouTube. I've made a bunch of different courses over the years, all around embodiment, awakening your intuition, mastering magnetism, soul purpose alignment, these themes. And they're all free on YouTube. So I just really want to highlight that material is there, and you can find it all on my website and also on YouTube.
That's awesome. I did that. I had a phase. I did that as well, as far as a course that I love that you did that. That's awesome. Everything that you shared is awesome. Those of you guys that are listening live right now, you guys can take advantage of Sydney's, what she just described, the events that she's participating in. Definitely share this. If you're watching this, if you're one of the ones that, it wasn't a coincidence that you got attracted to this live conversation that we're streaming, share this. Hit the share button and give somebody else a chance to to hear it. I'll make sure I leave this up so that people can participate in the things that she's doing. For those of you guys that are hearing this on iTunes and Spotify when this is out, these events have already happened by the time you guys get to this. However, I know that Sydney is in a constant flow of creation with her new book and all the things that she'll be doing. So definitely connect with her and leave a review on this episode on Enlightened Conversation that says that Sydney Human is awesome and I became aware of this, and this, and it'll just make it easier. I would love for when people type in Sydney Campos for them to see this beautiful conversation as one of the things that they're able to see, because she's just in a beautiful place here in August 2020 as we record this, and a year from now she'll have another year of life experience, and there's so many other questions that I could have asked you, but I didn't want to take up hours and hours and hours of your time. You have a full day to enjoy there in Maui, so I'll just leave it open to more co-creation whenever timing is right. But thank you so much. This has been so much fun. A conversation I would have wanted to have with you anyway, and it's just more fun. You said you're a water snob. I'm a recording snob. Conversations don't feel as fun to me if they're not recorded and shared, because it's like me and Sydney had a lot of fun doing it, but I want you guys to be impacted as well. So thank you so much for playing with me today, and I look forward to seeing your journey and co-creating with you whenever timing is right.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes. All right, you guys out there, we'll talk to you soon. Have a beautiful day whenever you hear this, whether it's now or 100 years from now. We love you and appreciate you. We'll talk to you guys all soon. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop the stream, and then I'll say bye to you, Sydney. You're awesome. Streaming stopped. Awesome. That was so much fun.